to our final instalment of our Human Curiosity show. Apart from exhibiting themselves, Human Curiosities would develop and perform for their audiences. And in this instalment, I intend to tell you about some of the weirdest performances that graced showmen's tents in the Victorian times. Some happy endings, some not, some real and some not. But firstly, let's talk about giants. 3 giants, to be exact. First, let's talk about Captain Bates, the gentle giant that stood 7 foot 11 and a half inches tall and was a miracle to see. His act was incredibly simple. He would perform mundane, normal tasks and activities with items that were smaller than what they originally were. So, for example, have you ever seen a giant do the washing up? Washing up plates, dishes, knives and forks that had been shrunken down and incredibly difficult and fragile to hold with his massive, strong hands. Have you ever seen a giant dusting? Well, Anna Swan, who later joined the same Human Curiosity show along with Captain Bates, and stood a tremendous 7 foot 11 and 3/4 inches, making her the tallest woman in the world. Her act, like Bates, was incredibly simple, and it was just to dust a house. A small 2-story house was constructed in the showman's tent, and she would dust it. Pure and simple. She would then lift the roof off the house and then climb inside and dust the inside of the house. Simple but incredibly entertaining for the Victorian audience. It was love at first sight for these 2 giants, and soon they would become married, making them the tallest couple in the world. The wedding was just as entertaining as the shows that they performed, with the vicar standing on a couple of crates to conduct the ceremony, Tom Thumb, the world's smallest man as best man, having to scale and climb Bates's legs to pass him the wedding rings. However, rivalry was on the horizon. A separate show had just announced that they had the tallest giant in the world. All the way from Japan, Garo, the Japanese giant, standing 10 foot high. People flocked to see this huge man walk about. However, it was later discovered that it was indeed a fake. Garo was actually a man, a Japanese man standing at 4 foot, on the shoulders of a fair hand who stood at 6 foot, with a long robe covering their entire bodies. Now, remember, the Victorian era was an industrious time, with advancements in technology and science going from leaps and bounds. Electricity was a big thing, and the showmen took advantage of this. Shows became technological marvels, tapping into the latest discoveries and findings and showing these to their audiences, and even taking on their own takes of these new discoveries. This brings me to Isaac Sparroge, the living skeleton. Now again, I must point out, ladies and gentlemen, that we are not making fun of these people. We are merely sharing their story with you. The living skeleton's act was just as it sounds. Isaac would walk around the fair, showing off his painfully thin body to the world. He was not anorexic, ladies and gentlemen, but sadly suffered from progressive muscular atrophy, where the muscles of his body just withered as he got older. He indeed had an incredibly happy life, got married, had 3 children, all robust and healthy. He had a very healthy appetite, and people would watch him eating a meal and see the chewed food travel down his throat to his stomach. And now, with the invention of electricity and electric lights, a large lantern was projected behind him so that the audience could see his organs working and moving in his body. The use of electric lights doesn't stop there. I now bring you to the attention of the man with the ostrich stomach. A truly interesting character. He had the ability to swallow anything and then regurgitate it back up. He could dislocate his jaw and fit larger objects in his mouth. He had no gag reflex. And items just fell into his mouth and down to his stomach. Swords, rifles, billiard balls, glass lantern bulbs. The use of electricity was indeed a great advantage for the man who could swallow anything. People would come and watch this man swallow an electric light bulb attached to an electric cable. He would then move over to a switch, flick it on, and the light bulb in his stomach would turn on and illuminate it, showing the audience everything that he'd eaten. Gloves, balls, spoons, the light bulb itself. He would then regurgitate everything back up one by one, leaving the light bulb to last. This act, sadly, ladies and gentlemen, only lasted a couple of months, as Victorian light bulbs get incredibly hot when they're turned on. And this in turn caused him massive internal burning to the man with the ostrich stomach, who then sadly died live on stage. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching these short videos on human curiosities. Please keep an eye on Sandwell Museum and Art Services social media pages to find out when you can come and visit Wednesbury Museum and Art Gallery and see our fantastic circus and fairground exhibition. There you'll be able to see lots of interesting things, as well as see the darker side of the fun fair. I'll see you soon.